Hello, everybody. Welcome to our next edition of the Profile Line Party Series. All right, so we are moving along to the next profile, which is the 1-4. So let's bring my lovely co-host Danny. Danny, are you excited?
Oh my God, moving along. Yeah. How could we ask for more, huh?
Right? They're waiting in the wings, so we're not going to keep them waiting too long. So we are going to give all of you a thorough yet prompt explanation of what this profile is all about. So this I thought is a very fitting image for a 1-4, right? They're studying to share with their friends.
Period. That's like, you could sum it all up with just that.
It's like, this is it.
Yeah, right. It says like be influential. It's to, right? It's to do all these things. They're investigating on one end. On the other end, they can't wait because everything is a possible opportunity, right? It's like, oh, this might go with that. Oh, this is good with that. And it's always inside the network. So that always contains someone else's name is always attached to that.
Right.
The networking part.
Oh, I think I forgot my handy dandy image from before. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. But anyhow, we are going to explain it visually. Remember the house analogy? In the house analogy, the 1 is the one at the foundation on the bottom floor, and the 4 is on the ground floor of the next floor up. So they're both foundational lines, right? Yep. So do you want me to do the core traits, or Danny, would you like to?
Oh, no, go ahead. Go for it, please.
Cool. So they are fascinated by learning and sharing things, right? They are strong, powerful, and authoritative. So the authoritative part comes from the line 1, right? Line 1s are learning stuff so they can be an authority on that particular subject. Think teacher archetype. And they attract people ready for their knowledge, right? Especially in line 4, they're going to bring in the people into their circles that want to hear all their findings. And they get the foundation, right? The line 1, they bring in the foundation for themselves first, and then they bring it to others, right? And they share information that personally interests them. So they're like, oh, this is something I want to know more about. Let me, go into like research mode and dig into it. So anything to add?
And the hope is that it empowers the other, that sharing. If the hope is that it is influential with the other and brings something new to move along. 4 always acts like the glue. That's why it's the foundation of the second level of the house in the house analogy.
Okay, cool. So would you like to do this one, Danny?
Yeah, learning and authority. So insecurities disappear when becoming an authority. So basically, as you learn, meaning don't go too fast. If you're not ready, don't do it. And you'll find it helps you when you think about it that way. Curates personal and professional connections. And the word curates is funny because that's really what it is. When we do the 2-4s next week, you'll see the uncurating of things. Shares and educates with and without direct experience, because it's just it tends to be able to externalize. So it's a natural at externalizing. Seeks mentors and seeks to be a mentor. It's heavily resonant with this nature of teacher student, master novice. It's a resonance that goes through this 1-4 profile. And then balance is also investigation with this community learning. And the community learning is really your network. That's your network. That's the community. And all your opportunities will come from there. You are an opportunist. Look at it that way. You're always looking for the opportunity for something to be really great that you're about to externalize to the others in your network.
Cool. Boom. All right. So challenges and empowerment, right? So I'll take this one. So they would like to avoid engaging in like superficial niceties, like if they can help it, right? They don't want to do the whole small talk thing. They do enjoy being solo and creative time. So I think thing that I've noticed that aren't talked about with the fours is fours actually really enjoy being alone.
Well, that's the creative expression. When we do the roll gates, people understand there's these wicked important roles that are ever present. And the creative role of the fourth line is in aloneness. And the creative outlet for the first line, its creativity is it's basically in a pulse. It's there and then it's not. It's independent of your will. So when independent of will, your creativity comes out, aloneness is where that fleshes itself out.
Well,
To
there's
be
that.
brought
But
up in the
there's
world.
right. The other thing that I found out about, right, is I can't remember what the exact terminology was. Like I remember for two, was it twos or was it? Yeah. Now my brain is farting and now I can't remember what it is. But remember we were talking about this, Danny, the theme of exhaustion.
Fourth, fatigue.
Yeah.
Is the word fatigue.
Right,
People
fatigue,
yeah.
right? For I can't remember what it was for the other lines, doesn't matter. But for the fourth, the fatigue, right? In their mind, before they go do a thing with people, they're already thinking, "Oh man, how much do I have to try?"
Unless
for
they're
them
wicked
to see
excited
my
about it.
way.
Yeah, unless they're wicked excited about it, then they're in. But as soon as they've been in now for a little while, any little disturbance and it's just they get people fatigue. Sooner or later, it's I gotta get out.
Yeah, so so when I was reading up on it, they're like, no, they actually, if they could, would like to be alone, and then eventually they're like, okay, I'm ready to go out now.
Right.
So it's not just like social butterfly 24/7. That's completely not the dealio, especially with the one, right? Because the ones want to be nice and secure in all their
The
findings.
ones want to be the chameleon. They just sort of want to blend in until they've seen enough and know enough. Yep.
Right. And they rely on their network for growth and opportunities, right? Danny was mentioning that Danny wasn't going to get on the show if he didn't know me. And then it's all like who you know for things to happen.
We're the product of our network, Moana. You and I are both smashed into each other via our network specifically, right? Shazam.
And they invest in quality relationships to avoid burnout. The minute where there's too much what's the word I'm looking for? Like if fours aren't meant to be super bendy. Like they're quite fixed, right? Think the next foundation up, right? So you have a 4 and then a 1 is already a foundation. Together, 1/4s are very, very fixed. But it's different from a 2/4, which we'll go into next week. So they're not here to necessarily bend at all. They're supposed to be very set in their ways. And if somebody keeps resisting that, eventually they abdicate. And they're like, you know what? This is... But they're not going to do it. They're going to do it in the nicest way possible. They're just going to slowly fade away. Like you'll fall into the further outskirts of the circle.
Right. And in those moments of their aloneness, they will go right back. They'll immediately go right back to whatever it was they were thinking in the first place. They agree to disagree is the fourth line.
Right.
A lot, in a way.
Okay. So our conclusion, Danny, take it away.
Yeah. Grasp foundations deeply before you move on, and then you share out to your network. If you don't grasp it deeply before you move on, you'll find nervousness and other anxieties. Performs transforms security into security. It's basically you're always transforming what is potentially faulty into a strength. Moves from weakness to strength. Yeah, I just said it. Cultivates networks through strategy and authority. So that's important. Everyone's got a different strategy and authority. Just remember your network is so important. Never let it get down to zero. All those times you might want to just bow out. Don't, make sure you keep your besties with you. And retains influence by adapting and seeking supportive connections. Remember this word influence in your fourth line, and this word that is sort of to become an authority on things. To become an authority through the first line investigator is to then have the capacity to be influential. And that's what's at the end of the road for the fourth line, is to they want to be influential on the things that they love. Basically, let me share my love with you. And it's really cool. Sometimes it's too much. And every fourth line in this room is going to have a story about when it was too much. Oops, don't worry about it. If someone was mad enough at you after it was too much or got annoyed or whatever, then they might not be right for you in that moment. So, but that's it.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to, without further ado, start introducing our 1-4 guests one by one. Super exciting. So we are going to first start with our European guest. She's signing on at the craziest hour to join every one of us here. So big thank you
Yeah.
to Yannicka. Yannicka,
Yannicka.
hello.
Hey guys.
Much love and thank you so much for
Thank you
doing
so
that.
much. Do you want to tell everyone where you're coming in from so everyone's not left wondering?
Yeah, so I'm actually coming in from the Netherlands and it's 11:45 now. So it will be a late one today.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Yannicka. You have no idea how grateful we are that you're here. And then we are going to bring up our next European guest, Emma.
Hello, I was on mute, sorry. Hi.
No worries. So Emma, would you like to tell everybody where you are coming in from?
And how long
I am from.
your experiment,
Sorry?
if you've been in your experiment, and how long you've been in your human design thing?
Yeah, so I am from Paisley, which is just 15-20 minutes from Glasgow in Scotland. And I've been in my experiment for the last year and a half. Yeah. Been excited.
Perfect. And our next guest, she didn't put her fancy title on. She's a doctor. We officially have a doctor on our stream.
Yay.
I am very exciting. So, Michelle, would you like to tell everybody where you are signing in from?
Hi, everyone. I'm over in the States. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. And I have just entered my 5th year of my experiment.
No way. Good deal.
Amazing.
Can't wait to hear about some of that. Doctor of what, you may ask?
Oh, Doctor of Physical Therapy.
Physical therapy. We all need that.
Excellent. And last but certainly not least, we have our next guest. She is the lovely reflector, Rachel.
Hello.
Rachel, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Excellent. So, Rachel, would you like to tell everybody where you are signing in from and how long you've been in your experiment?
I'm in Eastern United States, and I'm pretty new to this. I found out I was a reflector maybe a year ago, but haven't really done too much with it.
Beautiful.
Yep. Lot to learn, lot to know. By the way, everyone on here, to whatever degree you want it, just contact into the show, and everyone who comes on and does this thing, I'm just gonna read for and do analysis whenever you're ready, whatever you want, if you need, and or just talk through concepts, whatever you feel like. That's free.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. So, without further ado, what we're going to be doing now is going into our lovely, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain. Interview section. Right? So, I am going to put up the question. Danny, you know the drill. I will leave you on until you've asked the question, and then we're going to let the 1-4 energetics play out. So let me go do that.
You'll be on your own. So yeah, so talk amongst yourselves after I rattle off the question. By the way, I never read the question as it's written. I always have to add stuff. So, so this investigator nature, how do you experience this investigator nature? And just go as deeply as you can and leave room for others to talk, like encourage everyone to talk if they haven't. This investigator thing, how important has it been to you? Has it caused this sense of needing to be a chameleon before you come out? So how do you experience this investigator nature?
I'll speak to it. I am one-line dominant. So I have 10 one-lines in my chart, and 9 of them are conscious. And maybe even the fact that I have a doctorate really speaks to the fact that I absolutely love to get information when I'm interested in the subject. I don't know if y'all agree with that or not. I've realized that I can't turn that on for anything. It'd be lovely if I could, but it's really only when something interests me that I'll go straight down that rabbit hole. I've also found that when I'm so interested in something and I do reach out to my network and I start talking about it, and people are kindly trying to give me information, I'm like, nope, I've already found that. I've already found that. Like the depth that we can go into. Have y'all experienced that? It's been just kind of wild to me.
Yeah, I would say the exact same. And what Danny was saying about being the chameleon and kind of standing back at first and really observing and taking it all in before reacting or acting. Yeah, definitely agree.
What about, do y'all even, some of the things that resonate with me with the one line too is kind of like the fear of not knowing enough too. Like I've never really thought of it in the chameleon manner, but it's more like, oh, I just don't know enough because I just look so deep that I start looking at people who have like the nichest like PhDs, right? And so of course I don't know as much as they do, but it's almost like I have had to realize that like I'll do that comparison to these super, super, super experts when I'm not trying to be just an expert in that, and that's okay. And I know a lot more and trying to use my voice to share what I do know already. A lot of times before I'm ready to do it. Have you guys experienced that?
Yeah, so like we're in force, and I'm always like at the beginning with new people, I'm just observing and listening. I'm not sure if you experience the same, but like I'm just listening to your story. I'm very intrigued because I do feel the same. But what I notice now is that once I feel like this, I react to something and then I get this very deep urge to investigate. And it's something else, like now I have to investigate something for a client. And it's like, I really have to push myself. It's not the same as something that I'm like passionate about. It's like, it's completely different. I get lost for hours and like, I only want to be in that kind of rabbit hole. Yeah, so that's my experience a little bit.
Yeah, you kind of tunnel vision, don't you? Once you're hooked onto something, you're like, I need to know more. Where else can I find more information?
Nothing more important than that kind of subject at that point. At least for me. Yeah. I don't know what about you guys.
Yeah, and I cross-reference all the resources and information that I'm getting. I'll cross-reference that. I'll try and work out, does it make sense? And yeah. Also, I try and challenge ChatGPT with questions sometimes just to see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't gone
sometimes, sometimes you need to ask it a couple of times in different ways for it to give you the answer that you're actually looking for. If you know the answer but it's interesting. Love it. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Rachel? Anything you've noticed over the past year?
Well, I've always just really been. Sorry, I don't know. Janica, is that your name? I'm sorry. What you said before, just observe and listen to people. Like my job a lot, when we hire new people, they usually have me kind of figure them out, like spend some time with them and just observe them and figure out who they are.
That's kind of cool to be in a group with you guys because I normally do the same thing. I'm normally not the talker in the group. So it's a little interesting to be in this dynamic. And I'm like, oh, I'm the one talking so much. And I'm like, wow, I am not normally like this. But obviously we've got good energetic connection. So you bring me out my voice. Thank you.
That's lovely.
Moving on. That was wonderful, guys. I'm so glad you did that. Speak up when, just say the things and you'll notice you're all introspective. So that was a hard question in a way. Do you notice yourself externalizing these foundations you develop? This is almost like a no-brainer in a way. Externalizing is this act of having to say. The having to say is this act of doing it within your network first. It's never just out to the world, not never, but out to the world is not satisfying. To the last friend you were influential with and talking to that agreed with you and had something going on, that's your first call. So do you notice yourself? And by the way, the energy you were speaking to, Janica, like when you, right, especially as a generator, but all the types, if suddenly your creative pulse says, I don't wanna, you're not in the mood. And that's true. And now your energy is only flying at half mass, right? And it's like not working well. But the energy to be a fourth line, and that fourth line externalizes into a network that it's friendly with. It befriends, it networks, and then it becomes influential through what it externalizes. Do you notice yourself, your guys' self, externalizing these foundations and the things that you develop, an authority on?
I don't know if I can answer that.
I would say that yes, I do. I notice, especially since we're fourth line designs and it's unconscious. So I'm not sure how it hit for y'all when you first found your chart, but I was really surprised by my fourth line. It's only my unconscious sun and earth, and then I have my unconscious Jupiter. So I don't have a lot of fourth line energy, but again, it's in that incarnation cross, so it's a big part of who I am. And I had to really think through, is this me? Do I do this? And then I have been able to witness over the past 5 years that it is always my friends that I go to first. The concept of trying to get clients in, I don't like it when random people just come in. I'm just whoa, I don't know you. I need to know you first. And the best kind of connections even are just if one of my close network has referred me to somebody and they can bridge that gap for me, then I'm oh, okay, you're safe. We're good. We're going to be fine. But yeah, I love to talk out to the people that are my closest friends. Voice notes are my favorite thing. And that's where I see it kind of come into play for me.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would, sorry.
Oh, no, go for it, Emma.
No, you go. You go.
It's typical 1-4 behavior. No, we're all...
Sorry.
No worries. So I think I only externalize my foundations if they feel very solid. I think even sometimes I feel almost like a private person. If it's something really important to me, I will not externalize it till I feel safe to do it, with either my network or somebody that's very close to me. And yeah, so sometimes I can spend investigating for a very, very long time before I externalize actually. And sometimes this one person pops up and needs my info and it feels safe, and then it's the moment, right? Yeah. Or it's something I'm really excited about and I just want to share with somebody I love. And sometimes it can take months for me to put it out in the world. Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would probably say that unless I fully known, trust the person, I probably internalize a lot more than externalize. But I think that's probably a lot to do with conditioning as well. Obviously, being a manifestor, I should be using my throat a lot more, which, yeah, it's a process. Yeah. What about yourself, Rachel? Do you internalize?
I used to definitely always 100% would internalize everything, and I've just recently, the last few months, really tried to externalize things and use my connections and networking to connect, really, I guess.
Yeah. I have started a podcast about human design so that I could share, and that's obviously how I've met Mo. And then the amount of connections I've made through that, I would say definitely fits in with the externalizing. But yeah.
And what about it? Does it feel safe for you to, because from the podcast, there are probably also people from without your network. How does that feel? Do they feel now, or how do you?
I had one call with someone who was outside of the network. It was a bit challenging. They were a different human design type to me as well. And previous to that, everybody that I've spoke to have been a manifester and from the manifester community. So it's been lovely to see how that's all come together and the amount of people that all know each other. And yeah, I can see how it's all starting to knit together. It's nice. Really nice.
Yeah, it's interesting just sort of throwing you guys into this. Sorry for any uncomfortable silences, but deal with it. And we love you, and there's nothing but love in this room. Just, I guess, always remember that. So last question. You know what? Come back, because I might have a follow-up question, or I might not. Have you noticed yourself abdicating? I love this one. Abdicating in situations that either lack the opportunity or the conflict. There's some kind of conflict, even minor, mundane, that might disturb the flow of the network. Do you ever find yourself abdicating, giving up a spot? All right, never mind. I'll go along, that type of thing. Or just like in a conversation, you just sort of back out without really standing up for your position. Have you done that? Have you noticed you do that? Have you ever felt bad about doing that? So try that one.
So I definitely have noticed that I abdicate when situations are lacking or there's conflict involved.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I haven't though, like it's got to the stage where there's been chaos and I've had no other option but to abdicate. But yeah, I definitely would say that's true. I noticed that.
I'm right there with you with the conflict. If there's conflict, it's immediate abdication.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
So first of all, like abdicating is a new word for me. I never heard of this word before. So the first, I think it's a 1-4 thing. Like in me, it's like, I need to research this word. I don't know the complete meaning, but
That's what I did as soon as I saw it.
Me too. I didn't know what it meant either.
So like think about like the royals used to abdicate the throne. Like they just leave. It's like peace out. I'm done. That's kind of the concept of what that means.
Oh, but that also feels a little bit like, I mean, with it, we all have innocent motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a war, because we're bridging profile. So it's like, I think I feel with that as well, like the detachment, it feels a little bit like that sometimes. Like I rather be detached from a situation than be in the conflict. Like I rather sit on the hill and be the fool and watch the fight down below instead of being in the fight. I'm not interested in that. Like I'm not sure. What about you guys? How do you experience that?
I think that's perfect. I totally agree with that. I was kind of thinking about that earlier, that, I don't like to stand up for a lot of the more polarizing concepts that end up in the world, right? Like I'm just like you. I'm kind of like just watching everything and just observing, and it's been nice to know about human design because there are people who are so passionate and have that voice, and they have concepts of their design that they can really speak on it. And yeah, I guess some of that fourth line just kind of makes me be like, no, not for me. Thank you. Everyone else can do that. I'm going to figure out like how to make us all like come together.
Yeah, no, this all makes sense, and I'm glad you guys are seeing that. And I'll stay online. Someone's got a question here. Cool. How do you experience your quality of life in relationship to the quality of your social network? Yeah, so the degree and listen, so whenever we start our human design experiment, no matter how long we've been in it, we always have to start somewhere. We just start seeing it. So at that time when that happens, wherever we start, you have to realize it doesn't feel good at first, certain things. And so when I read this question, how do you experience your quality of life in relationship to the quality of your social network? Please give us the easy expression if there is one, and give us the hard one. If it's hard, spit it out if you can. And I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
I would say for me as an ego manifester, it's definitely hard. I actually struggle to see where some of it is until I started doing the podcast and things like that. But yeah, out with that, I would say I struggle with like a social network of any kind. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I've read about the fourth line is obviously just the quality of our network is so important. And, you know, I learned human design in May of 2020, and just the world was so different. And, you know, from some of that, I ended up shifting out of my clinical career, and I was kind of in a new city, and it was just, I sort of didn't have a network at the time. So I've had to build it over the past few years. So within my human design experiment, I've been able to build a network that really does feel good. I'd say my family is my biggest opportunity at this point still to work within a network that will really trigger me and bring opportunities for more awareness and everything. I did have a situation a couple weeks ago where I was able to reconnect with an old high school friend that I hadn't seen in 7 years, and we sort of had a parting of ways. It was never anything ugly or anything like that. We just were moving in different directions. I moved cities and didn't live in my hometown, and we just lost touch. And it was a little nerve-wracking to think about getting back in touch. And I was curious to be involved with what I consider an old network, like an old version of myself, I guess. And it was really nice. I was very surprised by that. So, you know, that's kind of the experience I've had. I know that's not like the best answer. I just haven't had to be in a network at this point in my life that I haven't created. I'm very, very grateful for that. Because I can imagine how hard that would be if you were like, oh, this network is not aligned with me anymore.
My social networks have always been very small. I've never had like huge groups of friends. It's just too much. But I found myself over the years, I guess it's kind of made it easier as I've shifted my life into a different direction. It's kind of easier just to part ways with them, and it's easier, I guess, to part ways with a few that don't align rather than a whole bunch.
Yeah, so for me, I have a lot of different experiences actually in relationship wise. And for me, I'm a sleeping phoenix, and my cross is all about deep connections. And what I noticed is early in my life, I had a lot of hardships, like family wise and parent wise. Like I had not an easy growing up, but it kind of taught me as well, like a lot of things about relationships and like how these kind of things work. And I also had these very incredible deep relationships. For example, I'm 12 years together now with my partner, and actually the networks that I built, I can just tap into them. Even, you know, sometimes they don't hear from me in months, and and it has nothing to do about them, but sometimes I just need to retreat, or I'm in introspection. And then the foundation, that's the most important, I feel like. If the foundation is solid, it feels like you can just pick it up again, that connection. And as well what you were saying, Michelle, like it might feel scary at first, but I mean, if you feel like the foundation is there, it's like, for me at least, I can feel like, okay, I can just pick it back up, you know, and it's like I don't have to worry about that. But that's for me my experience. And if I feel like, okay, I think I can pick it right back up, and then I feel not good about it, I feel like, okay, then maybe this foundation isn't deep enough. Like I didn't create that solid foundation for myself, because I know with my real connections, I can always come back to them or shift away, or, you know, they know kind of how I work. So, yeah.
I love that. This is really good. And so, Moana, before you take us off, let's see. Oh, there is another question. Do you guys notice let me see. Let me read this myself. Expressions of your conscious authoritarian and your unconscious. Well, yeah. What are you guys doing as it relates to noticing? And Moana, this time leave me in the mix, please. What do you do as it relates to noticing that there's two aspects? Now, Rachel, this may be newest to you, based on what you said in the beginning, but there's two aspects, right? We have an investigator, and then there's something that's separate. It's different. It's totally separate. And it's this networker that's just friendly. Everyone always sees you guys as friendly. The first thing they notice is potentially friendly. And so you always get approached technically in a mostly friendly manner. You actually attract that. That's separate from this internal desire to be an authority on a thing and just this drive to get at a foundation that's very material. It's a very yin material action to get at the root of the matter. So do you notice these two expressions as separate? And I want to stay on for this.
Yeah, I definitely do. Because my one-line energy is so dominant in my conscious design, I joke with myself, like when I'm too far down a rabbit hole and I haven't gone to the network, that I need to put my line 1 in timeout. And I'm going to have to put that aside for a little while. And then I notice myself with social media, I like to walk and talk. And so I'll go out for a walk in the park and just do stories to my network on social media a lot. So I do notice like the difference and the big blend and the different way they express, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm always like, when I'm investigating stuff, I forget that people don't know the information that I know, and I think that it's obvious to everybody. So I don't want to tell them, I don't want to talk to them as if I'm teaching them something or that they already know. So I definitely noticed that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Rachel or Yannicka? Either one?
What you said at the beginning, that when you meet people, they just, I come off as very friendly and approachable. Everything you said, it's completely how I would have, I guess, rephrased the question. My job is I'm a manager, so I have a few people under me, and just very easy to come and talk to me.
Yep. It's always that way. Have you noticed? And is it sometimes fatiguing? Like you don't even know why they're coming to talk to you, Rachel, right?
Yeah. So when I found human design, it actually made me feel a lot more good with who I was. I felt like I felt like everything made more sense.
Rachel, I would love to talk to you offline and start to really dig into the sampling and resistant aura of yours, because it all starts there for a reflector. I mean, a few other things, but I would love to.
I would love that.
Please, if you don't mind, forward. In fact, if you guys have a pen handy, I'd like to give you all my phone number if you don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I'm in the States. I don't know how you do that. Probably I'm on WhatsApp, I'm pretty sure, and you can always text, but it's 413-246-5652.
I'm kind of slow. Will you say it one more time, Danny?
Hold on. We will do it in the chat. This is a public stream. Lots of randos are watching. Danny.
Too late.
Everybody has my number.
I will put it in the chat. I will put it in the chat.
Is that good enough for you guys to see it in the chat? 'Cause I never. All right. I forgot we're live. I don't care.
Right. This is our cue to go to bingo.
After Moana.
Okay, so that was this is the joy of unscripted TV. This kind of thing happens. So hopefully he doesn't get spammed with a lot of randos now expecting free readings. Oh gosh. Okay. So anywho, anything else you'd like to see? Our mod is like, I'm cringing. Yes, I'm cringing too. I'm scared. So there any closing things you'd like to add about your design before we get to the party portion of this party?
Yeah, I would like to hook in on what Emma said. Like, I really noticed that, like, the part that you're like without agenda, you're just sharing that information without you almost knowing it. You're like, oh, at least for me. And it's like, and I also feel like the quality of my network, if they come to me for their information, I know, okay, this is a good network, because it means like I can give them information as well. Like, there are opportunities coming on my path from them, but they're also coming to me. It feels really good, if it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's the same for you guys.
Yeah.
I still have to laugh.
I'll take the nodding of head as a yes. Let's go on to bingo. So let's have all of your cards. Just give me a nod when you're ready, and then we are going to start our round. So for those who haven't played bingo in a minute, whoever gets to a straight line of any sort, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, whatever, and you all have a free space in the middle. So I will put up the prompt. And again, you will sort yourselves as to who wants to do what. And then again, funny quips, something come into your head, please share. That's the whole point. We are trying to see what it's like to have a little bingo party with just one force. So with that, I will put up the first prompt and leave you guys.
To be fascinated by learning. Are we supposed to do that?
Yeah, are we supposed to have them all? I don't think I have that.
I don't think we all have them all. I haven't played bingo in a hot minute. So I think we have to find the ones we do have.
Right, that's fine. Shares findings.
This is hard because I'm not. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I don't know.
I'm the same. I'm the same. Radiates authority. Establishes foundation.
Just checking in. No one has got bingo yet. Because you're supposed to scream bingo if you do.
I'm
just
really
you
close in
didn't
like
know.
4 different ways.
Okay, magical. All right, popping away.
Bingo! By the way, I had been speaking the whole time there and didn't realise I was on mute.
Speaking of, okay, please do not feel the need to mute yourself. We want to be hearing your lovely voices. So now we are moving to the next portion of our gaming segment. So the way this works, I'm going to give you a little bit of an explanation so you're not feeling completely lost. So the way your controller works, which is if you're using a computer or a phone, you're going to go to a URL. You can do this right now if you want. It's called jackbox.tv. And then everything else will make more sense when I have the game screen going. So give me 2 seconds to get my headset on. Otherwise, we'll be hearing loud music from 2 ends, and nobody wants that. Okay. Okie dokie. So this first game.
We can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh. No.
It's telling me I'm blocked. It's not letting me access this website.
Oh.
Let me try it on my other laptop.
Can't hear you.
Still can't hear you. Okay, what about now?
Now I can.
Yay, okay, great. So, don't worry about the website. I will put it up again. So the first game, all of that wasn't heard, so I'll just have to say it again. It is kind of like a trivia game. What happens is you're going to be given a prompt. And I just realized I made a boo-boo. Oh, it doesn't matter. And the prompt is going to make you choose you want to go high or low. It's like, do you think you want to go high or you want to go low? And then everyone else tries to guess you're high or you're low. That's a terrible explanation, but I swear it will make more sense the more rounds you go through. And the host might do a better job of it too. So let me present this to everybody so you can see the things. Share an entire screen and share this. Okay. Okay. Everybody can see this okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so starty. And we want to go here. Okay. Now, how's the sound? Is it too quiet, too loud?
I think it's okay.
I think it's
Yeah,
good.
it's okay.
You can hear it okay? All right, beautiful. So,
What's the room code, sorry?
say that one more time.
The
To
room
all
code?
agents, the break room refrigerator will be
The
cleaned out
room
on
code
Friday.
for...
Yeah.
Please remove all personal items.
It's asking
the
for a
This
room.
includes condiments,
Ah, this is it.
lunch containers, and the frozen Hitler
VKOL.
grain. Thank you.
VKOL.
Yes. So that's going to be your room code. So another thing I'm going to explain. Okay. Danny, you have to play as audience.
Hey,
I
Lauren,
don't know how to
could
move
do
you
me a
up.
huge
Hold
favor?
on.
I'm
We're
not
trying
calling
this.
you. Come on. I don't have an ex-girlfriend
If you want to
who works
play as
there.
audience,
Why?
everyone can. It's
I
really
need an
fun.
autographed
I'll
headshot
explain
of
how to
Colin
do that.
Powell,
So let's
circa
try that
2000.
again. Hold on. Sorry, friends. Danny, do not enter. I will tell you when you can enter as a guest. Okay, so
Attention
everyone's
all
joining
ages.
in
The
with
winner
this
of the
code
4
now.
days, 4 nights, all-inclusive vacation to the Area
GFBZ.
51 Golf Resort
And
Spa
once
is
everyone
Agent
has
Aletto.
joined,
Please
the
report to the front
VIP is the
desk to let
person
us know
who
your
came in
preferred visit,
first.
as well as your head size, so we
You
can get
are
a
going
dark
to press the
sack
button
properly
that says
restricts
everybody's
all
in.
vision.
So once Yannicka,
Congratulations.
Rachel, yourself, and Emma are all in, you can press everybody's in. And then after that, whoever wants to come in as a spectator will use the same code. So I'll give you all in the audience the go
I'm just
ahead when
saying,
that
why
is
don't we
okay.
point all our satellites at the
And
Pacific
yes, you also
Northwest,
have to
and we'll
choose a
settle this once and
face,
for all.
Yannicka.
You want to use all of our
What you
satellite
think your
resources
little
for fighting
icon should
Bigfoot?
be
That's the
when
best
you're
idea I've ever heard.
thinking.
So now
Okay.
everybody's in, so I can go.
Now everyone's
Bigfoot's
in and you
awake
can
as a
press
cat.
go.
Don't you
Okay.
care about
And
Bigfoot?
I am going to leave you to it. And
Hello.
all the
You know, most guidance
people
counselors
now,
don't
if
tell
you
you
want to
how
play
exciting being in a
play
government
along, you
agency
can
that
put the
spies
code
on
in
people can be.
as
So
an
we decided
audience
to make a
member.
game to show you how much fun we have watching your every move. We call it Yespionage. Oh, and hey, you've got a live feed on your audience now. We'll be asking questions specifically about them if we collect enough data. Otherwise, we'll use what we already have. Let's have some analytical fun. Who's up first? Oh, this is going to be good. What percentage of people go to a Starbucks every day before work? Give it your best guess. You get more points the closer you come to the actual percentage. Oh, and don't forget to answer the question too, audience. Every answer counts. You're almost out of time. Got it. 66%. Okay, everyone else. Time to guess if the actual percentage is higher or lower. Only one of you thinks it's higher. Okay, let's see the right answer. 1%. You weren't within 30%, so no points for you. All right, who said lower? Here's some points. Who's next? Here we go. My favorite sport after curling. What percentage of people own bowling balls? %. All right, what do you think? Just one of you is saying higher. And the correct answer is 20%. I wonder what percentage of those bowling
For
balls
what?
are named Devastator or Charlene. Let's see who got it right. Ooh, points for you. Okay, who's up next? Typey, typey. What percentage of people believe that they are not average, not just smarter, but much smarter than the average person? %. Everyone else, higher or lower? One of you thinks it's higher. Now let's get to the right answer. 25%. Shockingly, most of them are wrong. Here's some points. Next up. I don't know. How about... What percentage of people still listen to music using iPods? %. Okay, higher or lower? vote is lower. Okay, let's see the right answer. 26%. iPods, that's like carrying a whole deck of cards around. Who has room for that?
I use an iPod.
Let's see who got it right. Well done. You get points. That's it for round one. Let's take a look at the scores. Not bad, but things are a little different in round two. I'll explain as we go.
Okay, friends, that was our warm-up. So, hopefully you're all nice and warmed up and friendly with each other. So I'm going to give you guys an option, which is fun. So since we don't have the full set of energy types, you have an option of playing a game that most times people don't have the option of. It is a cooperative game, which means you all have to be working very closely together to make sure not everybody explodes. So we can either play that or we can play something that's less pressure. I will let you decide and I will bring up that game accordingly.
I think it would be fun to see how we all work together.
I know. I think as fourth lines, we're gonna not want each other to explode. So
Yeah.
I trust us, guys.
Okay, so what was the votes? So votes for not exploding? Okay,
we're split.
just split the room. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Audience, whoever's watching in the audience, so that includes our mod and Moni. Let's hear what you want to see our guests do. Teamwork. We gotta vote for teamwork. So let me go find that one. It's not in this bag. Give me a second. That's one of my personal favorites. It's weirdly addictive. I'm just like, I just want to make sure I got this right. It's so good. Okay, I'm like talking this thing up and I can't find it, so that's kind of a fail. Give me 2 shakes to find it. Search here. I think it might be 1, maybe? No, it's not 1. It is 2. Okay, so let's do that lovely share screen thing again. Presentee. Okay. Whoops. I presented the wrong screen. That would do it. Like, what am I presenting? Ah, here it is. Entire screen. Here. Yeah. Okay. Now we go start. So I think there's a way to do a warm-up round for this because this game is going to require lots of talking and lots of cooperating. So I'll start you guys off easy, so we're not completely in the deep end. Okay. So, you are going to be using your phones to cut wires. All of you are going to get different pages of instruction. So someone's going to have page 1, someone's going to have page 4. So you need to talk amongst each other to do it in order. So, does that, any questions? No? Yes?
Nope.
You think you got it? Okay, we need 2 more of you to get in, and then whoever was the VIP can say we're all in. Alright, and that's my cue to leave.
Defuse as many bombs as you can before you explode. Have fun.
I have page 2. Who has page 1?
I'll go for wire 3.
Cut wire 3. I have page 2, and it says "Do not cut white wires."
Right, okay. So
Page 3.
that's wire 2.
Yeah, so don't cut wire 2.
So is it me that just cuts it? It says viewer the cutter. Is it only me that's got the option to cut them?
Uh-oh.
Guess we didn't do
We
quick.
died. Did we not
Did
do
I?
it fast enough?
I don't know what happened.
Maybe we're being timed. Read all the
Read all the
rules.
rules carefully before attempting. I didn't see it. Anything. Okay.
So next time, let's just read page 1. Whoever has page 1, read that. Page 2, read it, and then we'll do the steps.
But were you, like Yannicka, I didn't have any option to actually cut anything. Did
Me
you, Emma,
neither.
Rachel?
So I had an option to cut, but I didn't have any pages. So maybe I'm right. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe some people have got pages, some people have got
Yeah.
Okay.
right. That is what it is. Right. Okay. Can we just try again?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
I have page 1. It
I've got
says
page
cut
2.
wire 2 if it is black. It's not black, so don't cut it.
No, I'm the cutter. I'm the cutter. So
Right. So
Okay.
mine page 2 says cut all wires adjacent to wire 1.
But page 3 says wires need to be cut in order from right to left.
Right to left.
ah,
Right. What does mine say again? Cut all wires adjacent to wire 1.
But don't cut wire 2. Mine says cut wire 2 only if it's black. So we wouldn't cut anything then?
oh,
It cut,
four.
but
Wire
yellow.
4 and
It's
then
yellow.
wire 3.
Shall I try 4?
I think number 2, because you say don't cut number 2 if it's black, because on my screen number 2 is yellow.
Right.
Mine says wires need to be cut in order from right to left.
So I got
So
4, 3, and
wire 4, I think, is first.
Oops.
All right. We'll try again.
But mine said not to cut it if it was not black. Or if it is black.
it's like we were also hesitant.
I
Like
know.
You know.
these fours were like, we're insecure. We don't know what to do.
That was my thought. My thought was like putting all the rules together. I was like, none of them match up. We should not cut any of them.
And I was like, guys, we're gonna die anyways if we don't.
Cut something.
Let's try it again. One
Yeah,
last
I
thought.
mean, we have to create a foundation. This work.
Right.
Okay, I am page 1. Do not cut the third wire, even if other rules say that you should.
Okay.
And I also have the wires to cut as well.
I
Okay.
also do.
Me too.
I'm page 2. Cut all white wires.
So we don't have any white ones.
Mine says cut odd wires.
Right, but mine says page 3 is supposed to say even, not odd. So what did page 3 say?
Cut odd wires. So I think it's just wire 1.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
But it says it's supposed to be even, not odd.
Oops, that was my
It was
fault. I'm
supposed
so
to
sorry.
be even, not odd. Was what my
Oh, so
page
then we
said.
should have put what?
It's fine. One more try.
Oh,
Three is
okay.
supposed to say even.
Oh,
And before we cut anything, I think we should make sure we all agree so we can all put our hands up.
Take a vote next time.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
So-
I'm the cutter. That's all I know.
Right, on page 1 it says cut red wires if the bomb's model ends with a number. Otherwise, do not cut red wires.
I'm page 2, and mine says cut the first wire.
page 3 says cut green wires if the bomb's model ends with a letter. Otherwise, do not cut green wires. There are no green wires.
So do we think that we would cut the first one and then cut that third one down at the bottom?
Mine says cut red wires if the bomb's model ends with a number. Otherwise, do not
does.
cut. So mine's number 3 does, doesn't it? And it's red.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would-
I can't choose where to cut it. I can just only choose.
Say again, I couldn't hear you.
I cannot choose where to cut it. I can just wire 3. Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
so I do wire 1. Yeah.
No,
Correct.
wire 3, is it not?
Well,
Mine says a red wire with a number at the
Yeah,
end of
wire
it.
3.
Okay, I do 3.
and then cut the first wire.
Woohoo!
We did it!
Well done.
Oh, we get to keep
another
going.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Right, I've got page 1. It says, if the bomb was made in 1989, treat yellow wires as black. So how do we know? Year
It says
2004,
in
so that doesn't
in the
matter.
bottom corner.
Yeah, so mine,
I have
page 1 doesn't matter.
I have page 2, and it says cut all red wires.
Page 4
And
says
I have if the bomb was made in 2002, which is treat black wires as yellow.
Uh-oh.
It's a bit cool.
I can cut 1, 2, 4. Anybody's got it? Do it. It gets faster.
It does.
That was
Isn't
intense, yeah.
You did one. The bomb's diffused. So for the first time ever playing, not bad. I like how you guys are all like, but we're not secure. So that was quite on brand for 1-4s. So my suggestion was, that was really stressful. I'm sure, to do one last very easy palate cleanser game, but I want to make sure if that's what you guys want to do before you guys can bid yourselves adieu. So what would you like to do? Yes, palate cleanser. No, we want to leave. Emma, yes, palate cleanser. Okay, so this one's gonna make you laugh, and all the pressure's off. So, give me 2 shakes to get it on. So this game is super easy. I don't even think it needs any explanation. So I will put it on and then bid you adieu.
Whiplash, this is Schmitty. Please hold. Very nice names. When my capybara finally gives birth, I'm going to name the pups after you guys. This is round 1. 2 prompts will appear on your device, which you can answer in any clever or not clever way you want. Everyone will choose between your answer and someone else's and decide who wins. You'll score points based on the percentage of people who prefer your answer. Have at it. Cool. Let's see what's what. Number 1 on the list, the one thing that depresses Popeye. Okay, pick your favorite and vote.
Oh, does spinach make him stronger, actually? Oops.
So look at your controller and pick your favorite answer.
Coming up next, a great name for a real estate agent. And vote. Moving on, how you know your RV is haunted. Ready, set, vote. Next on deck, a terrible brand name for cat food. Time to vote. That's it. Let's see the scores for round one. Round two time, and to make it interesting, I'm doubling all the point values. You heard me. Let's take a look. Up first, a rejected title in the Magic School Bus series. The Magic School Bus goes to blank. Okay, vote for your favorite. Next prompt. A job that doesn't exist, but surely would have the highest death rate if it did. Okay, vote. Next up, weird advice from your grandfather. Don't take any wooden blank. Vote on your devices. Next in line, something to stuff a bra with if you're in a hurry. Get to voting.
Round 2 is through. Let's see what it did to the scores. This is round 3, the last lash. Everyone's taking aim at the same prompt this time. Complete the comic. All right, here's the board. It's round 3, and you've got 2 medals to award, a gold and a silver. Make your picks. All right, let's see where those medals went. Bring out the silver and gold. All right, let's turn that into cold hard points. It's over. Let's see the final scores.
That was cool.
I felt exposed. Who of you guys have a defined hat center?
What's that, sorry?
No.
No, like I was like I need inspiration.
Amazing. Well, that is the end of our gaming portion. Thank you so much, guests and players, for sharing your quips and your energy and your creativity with all of us. It was truly an honor to host you. So we would all love to know where we can reach you. So you can take your turns telling us where we can find you, if people want to get in touch with you, and all the things. And feel free to also throw it into the chat, and then I could share it so people can click on your link and find you.
So I'm over at Instagram on I am Dr. Michelle Kraus. That's my handle. So I'll put it in the chat so anybody can come and hang out with me there.
And I'm the same on Instagram. I've got the She Speaks Human Design account, which I use for the podcast and sharing information on human design.
I don't have social media.
I'm as well on Instagram You can find me under It Is Janneke Charlotte.
Perfect. So while everyone's putting their stuff in, again, thank you so much for coming and representing all your respective 1-4 energy types. I'm sure they're super excited to see themselves represented. We all know 1-4s are a transitory profile, so they're very hard to find. So thank you for agreeing and coming on. It was so much fun. I hope you had fun too. And with that, I will bid you all adieu, and we are going to move on to our transit forecast. So again, thank you all for coming. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Oops. Alrighty. So let's bring our lovely co-host who's been waiting in the wings on to do this awesome section. Da, 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 da.
Hello.
Hey, what am I doing?
Sort of like this time of day.
It is nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice change. It's nice to do something different.
It's the sun's pouring in. I don't know if you can tell I'm lit up all differently.
Oh, that's
Da, da,
cool.
da, da.
You do look a little like brighter, more natural light.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So transit weather from June 7th till July or June 12th, June 7th to June 12th this month,
Mhm.
ending tomorrow actually. The sun is in gate 45 and the earth is in gate 26.
45 and 26. So this is just something that we can rely on for the week that it's here. Everyone should know the whole reason to look at the transit is to see what's driving in on us and see if you notice its effects upon us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we can take a look on the wheel where they're at. Again, it's continuing just to move counterclockwise along the wheel. So last week it was like 35 in the sun, and this week it's 45, so it's shifted over. This is the gate of the gatherer. It's gathering together. It's a tribal gate. We'll get to that on the next one. And then the earth, if you look above, is shifting counterclockwise into gate 26, which is this gate of integrity in the high side, but it can be like the trickster and like the used car salesman. So we'll get into all of that, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I love this opposition. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. So sun in gate 45, it's gathering together. It's the gate of the gatherer. It's the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. It's a throat gate. It's tribal, which tribal, anytime you hear tribal, that means support. It's part of the ego circuitry. It links to gate 21, which is biting through. For the channel of 4521, it's the channel of money. It is the single voice of the tribe saying, I have. It's an ability to gather people together to manifest the tribe's needs, expand the community, and bring harmony to those around you.
Yeah, and bring a sense of basically teaching the masses. It's always about educating the masses, informing. This is our tribe. The informing is this is our tribe. The I have is I have this tribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting because it is that like voice of the tribe. And so that 4521, it's like, it's this channel of like the monarch, right? It's the king, it's the queen.
Yep.
And being a good king, being a good queen, being a good monarch of your tribe, a good leader of your tribe is having those resources and then sharing them for the benefit of the tribe. So like you said, it's sharing resources, it's sharing education and knowledge because you want your tribe to be educated. You want your tribe to have the resources it needs. So it's being responsible in those resources and distributing them for the benefit of all.
Yeah, it speaks when it's being, it's higher expression. It's speaking we the people. That's it. And its lower expression, it's simply the possessive. 45 always has a possessive nature, a controlling possessive nature in a sense, because I have, it's mine. And a low expression of that is obvious. And the high expression of that is we have.
And that, and oh, sorry, I was just going to say that like, it's note with that, like we have, I have, we the people, that's only tribal. So when it's like we the people is like a collective thing gets a little funny since that's actually like within design, it's tribal.
Yep, absolutely. So we the people of our tribe. Yeah, I should have qualified.
Yes. Oh no, you did it perfectly. It's just interesting when you hear that more colloquially
Right,
from a collective kind of setting where it can kind of feel a bit off since at that core circuitry is tribal.
Yeah, absolutely. And the need to support. So these are two support gates that are here. Are we moving on to 26 and then we'll put them together?
We can, whatever you think is best. Yeah, you want to move on? We go. So the Earth in 26, right? So this is the taming power of the great. It's the egoist. It's the maximization of the power of memory applied to the nurturing of continuity. So again, this one. Oh, go ahead.
No, nothing. I'm just, it's true. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. So it's another. It's an ego gate from the will center, the heart center. It's again tribal. So again, tribal equals support. We can just kind of smoosh those two together so they link in your brain. That tribal circuitry is about support of the tribe and one another. The ego circuit. It links to gate 44, which is coming to meet. It's also the gate of alertness. And then the 4426, that channel is the channel of surrender. So the gate 26 is the natural salesperson who's actually expected to exaggerate the innate, and it's the innate ability to manipulate memory coupled with the energy of the ego that it's designed to withstand with rejection.
It's designed to punch through too. This gate loves to roar. I mean, like, it loves to, I did it. And it's worth noting that the channel of surrender is about the surrender of two opposing forces to one another. That's the surrender. And soon as that surrender is there, it transmits. This is the voice that transmits a message the tribe needs to hear to protect the continuity, because that sensitivity to support runs deep. It's personal in the tribe. So both these gates. So we have these two gates in the sun, and this is in the earth, and then we have the 45 in the sun as a, as a polarity, not polarity, but as in opposition to each other in the wheel. This brings a very tribal nature to this week that we've been in, and the tribal nature is, I like the continuity of my tribe. 26 doesn't quite know what that is, but it knows how to bluster about what it's not, and 45 does sort of know what it is, because it knows what it does or doesn't have is for the safety of the tribe. Both very sensitive. So all this week, or for the next couple, today and tomorrow and for the last 4 days, you've been sensitive to what the tribe needs and its continuance, with a slight ego bluster to say, I'm going to go get it. 26 rattles the sabers before battle. 45 sanctions the battle. I have the resources to win this battle, and it educates the tribe. We can and we have to do this. And 26 and 21 lead the charge. Technically fit in the rest of the three gates, 51 as well, depending. So what else would we expect because this energy is pouring down on us all this week? These were the children that were being born, and this is part of the cross of rulership. It is here to rule. And ultimately, there's if it's not dominion, I forgot what the left angle is of this, but in rulership, a quarter of civilization, if you're looking in the book.
Yeah, I'm going to it now.
In rulership, since that's what this cross is, think about it. Rulership is this process by which we listen, we figure out, we educate, and we do so with like an ego willpower that supports and holds things together, because the ego does the work and the throat is the manifestation center. So working manifested, that's something that happens this week. And taking care of your tribe as it relates to suddenly recognizing what you do and don't have, and finding a possessive voice in yourself. By the way, a possessive voice is a great voice to have. Again, there's higher and lower expressions to all this, right? So most couples would like at certain times their partner to be possessive of them. Every once in a while, it's like, just possess me, sweetie, because it's a thing, right? It feels
no one wants to be a stray animal,
Right.
Like you want to be kept and cared for and loved, and not in a weird possessive way, but like, you don't want to be a stray. You want to have your partner. You want to have your buddy.
Right, exactly. And that's the very type of energy that should literally be floating through as these sun earth gates are transiting us, because it pours this energy into our genome. And if you don't have a 26 or you don't have a 45, suddenly you do, and it links up gates. And 45 is a manifesting channel when you have 21, and so just manifested possessiveness for tribal purposes in a high expression that knows it has what it needs for continuity. And in that ego stream of awareness that goes from 26, 44, 32, 54, I went backwards on that. And that stream is very sensitive to the continuity. I have the ego willpower and what's needed for the continuity of my tribe or not. These are questions that will pour through the people, and continuity is survival at its core. And so this is a powerful energy running over the planet right now, and it might be confusing to certain people.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely see that coming up in, some of my experiences recently of that continuity of the tribe of just like, hey, what is best for us to be able to continue doing this, and what or who may not be the best with love, separation, but that level of protection and awareness of just, no, this, I'm taking care of what is mine.
Right. And I'm seeing it all over the world news. I don't know if you noticed, but in the past 2 days,
Let's not get too heavy.
well, in the past 2 days, they just everything swapped over in Europe. They voted out all the current people. That's a big deal. It's pretty rare that all the current people get kicked the heck out type thing. You know what I mean? That's tribal voice. I have the will to transmit this message. You're out. And with the nodes in the sky, I'm in control of that will.
Yeah.
And the solution is you're out. So
Yeah.
just type of thing. It happened across all of Europe. I mean, it was almost universal. You never see this. So
Yeah.
that's the will of the people talking, and this helped them talk. I mean, that's divine timing. Now, I think
It always is.
it always is. So, and 100 other examples of this just around the world as you just start to look at things. But this is a perfect timing for this stuff right in the middle of summer, basically.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. And we have the last slide. So
Yeah.
again, just reiterating June 7th to June 12th. So just until tomorrow. So maybe look back the past few days of what you're kind of seeing. And the first, the right angle cross for these gates is the cross of rulership. And it's so the people who've been born the past few days, it's people who are here to be offered or to exercise power. It's that, again, it's like that king, that queen, that monarchical voice.
Right. Notice the word offered.
Yeah.
We're in a 9-centered form. Please, it's so important. The old 7-centered form that we left behind in order to be human designed that we can read. That old form that we left behind, this wasn't their thing. That wasn't offered. They took it. Everything was always taken one way or another, and people just submitted to that. They're like, "Oh well, this is a new thing."
This is what it is.
It is. They killed my uncle. Okay, I'm still here. Be good. I'll be good, or whatever.
Yeah, survival was, well, that's what it is. And if I'm going to survive, I got to go along with this system of authority, because what am I going to do?
I'll lose my head. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And now in a 9-centered form, it does have to be offered. Taken is rejected. To take is to be rejected. Not always, because sometimes the strong man wins, right? If people are afraid enough, then if he has the appearance of winning, or she. But mostly in every other setting where you're normal, like us, it has to be offered. No one will accept the ruler that
no one wants to be lorded over, especially now. It's just like, okay, then I'm gonna go do my own thing. Like, I don't need you. We don't need it in that same way where you had to submit. So in your typical situations, it's like you want to have a system where like somebody needs to be in charge, somebody's got to be dad, somebody, it's just the nature of how we function. But it's like you want it to be correct. You want it to be everybody working together, and sure, you're doing this and I'm doing this and we're both putting it in to like work together. It's like you need that system in that order, but you want it to feel good. You want it to be correct. You don't want the boss that's screaming at you and yelling at you and being a jerk, because you're just going to go find something else to do. There's more options available now where we don't just have to submit and deal with that. And so I think that's a big thing we're definitely learning together is, okay, how do I do what's correct for me, and then be in situations with other people who are correct, and that like attracts like. And wow, when we're doing that and we're all doing what we are individually good at together and what we can grow towards together. And I think that's like a big thing of the 2027 shift, which I'm sure we'll be getting into that more deeply in the podcast. But it's a big world theme energetic shift that we're heading towards, and I really truly believe that's what a lot of it is going to be, is how do I as an individual do what is correct for me to be in alignment so I can play my role so well, and then everyone else could do their role so well, and we could all put this together and come together and build something wonderful.
Think about what that shift is. It's moving into the sleeping phoenix.
Yeah.
That's the overall right now. The cross hanging out over us for the past 415 years is the what is it? The cross of when you got
Planning.
Planning. Thank you.
Planning and penetration, I believe.
So when we move into the next one, we're moving into the phoenix.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it's going to be a big deal. And to be offered that it'll never work right if you're not offered and you try and take it. And it always works right when it is offered, because when it's offered, suddenly the sense of hierarchy sort of melts away.
And it becomes more natural. It's not like it's not a authoritarian, it's not totalitarian, It's not something bossing you around. It's just a natural of like, okay, somebody's got to be the CEO, somebody's got to be the vice president, somebody's got to be this, but there's mutual respect. And what's really cool, I love the sleeping phoenix. My boyfriend is a sleeping phoenix, so I've seen this play out with him. Of, it's kind of like the Harry Potter too, when Harry goes to Dumbledore's office and like the phoenix is like looking all a mess, and then like the phoenix just like bursts into flames, and Harry's like, oh no, I'm gonna be blamed for killing the phoenix, I didn't do it. And Dumbledore's like, oh, it's a shame you had to see him on a burn day, right? And so that kind of energy where we're like towards the end where we're looking kind of raggedy and all messed up, and we're getting close to that rebirth, and so it's looking a little ugly and messy as we're like coming towards the end of that cycle. But when that phoenix is reborn and comes back anew in the flames and that light that comes through and invigorates us, so like the sleeping phoenix like brings that life and sparks people back to life in the most beautiful way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I just love the word offered. It's a big departure from taken. And that's the big difference between our old form and the one we're in now. The form we're in now is designed to move towards communion. So I suggest we all get it right ASAP so we can stop the burning of this, the burning zones that are everywhere.
Yeah. And so then we're going to look at the hexagrams finally for gate sun in gate 45, the gathering, and then 26 with integrity, right? So within these hexagrams on the sun, the gathering side, you have lake over earth. And then on gate 26, you have mountain over heaven, right? So if you've been paying attention, then you can see that for the past few weeks, the bottom three, the earth and the heaven, have been the same. So those move through and continuous, and then the top ones shift through, right? And again, the solid lines are that masculine yang energy, right? That electric energy moving straight forward. And the broken lines are that feminine yin energy, which is that magnetic receptive. So you can see this balance between the 45-26 and any of the polarities that they're exactly opposite one another. So
they're in direct opposition, and this is part of the genetic code too. By the way, in the laying out of the wheel, all the hexagrams had to be in direct opposition to each other. So when you take that along with the Sphinx, along with the fact that our genetic code has a base pair that science measured, and you line our genetics up according to their base pair, the wheel lays out only one way. It's rather amazing. So suddenly those I Ching hexagram chops from 1 to 64 stop being 1 to 64, and they actually, boom, they flower out into the wheel that becomes, it's amazing. The wheel is amazing. It's worth
so beautiful.
Yeah, I stare at that thing sometimes.
Oh, I love it. I love how you can go from the broken line and then the solid line, right? The masculine, the feminine, the 1 and the 0. And you can go from just that base of masculine, feminine, 1 and 0, and then extrapolate it out like into the 8 main ones and then into the 64, which then goes into the entirety of human experience. Like it's such like nerdy beyond belief, but I love it and it's so beautiful. So I'm so excited to get to share it with everyone.
I love that the yin is called earth when it's all 3 yin. So I see how I finally figured out how these names are working, by the way, or I'm seeing how they're working.
That's exactly it. I was so excited to like play with it.
Yeah. So I find it interesting that the sun's energy in 45, the gathering, is foundationalized by the yin.
Mm-hmm.
So the voice of the tribe, the king and the queen, the monarch, sort of ruling voice of the tribe that is offered to exercise power.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a yin power.
Yeah.
Mother, please hold us together. I just find this, and I just find that gorgeous. And over on the other side, I talked about the saber rattling, right? Being in your integrity,
Yeah.
transmitting the good message. That sounds like dad. And for some reason, it's called dad heaven, but I guess dad and God and heaven all sort of
Yeah, the sun. Yeah.
yeah, and that's in the earth. It's just funny. So the yin earth is currently rising up the yang of 26. 26 is very yangy.
hmm
Very
Yeah, it's
yin
very
yang.
interesting. I think we've talked about this. I think Dr. Zach Bush is the one we both pulled this from. But the great bird, right? There's been this great eagle in the sky, and you can go back, thousands of years, and the feminine, right? And the feminine goddesses were strong and flying with one wing really hard, right? And then we've been in this time now on the flip side where that like masculine wing of the bird has been flying really hard, right? But we kind of you end up spinning in a circle. And now we're in this beautiful time where that masculine and the feminine are coming together, right? Sacred compatibility. We are nothing without one another to work together. So this great eagle, this bird can fly with both of its wings and like guide us and soar into something new and beautiful. Like, I think that's truly what we're in. And it's amazing. It's a little messy. It's a little dirty. It's shame to see us on a burn day before that phoenix rebirths, but we're in a cool time.
The euphemisms are flying. A little messy. Yeah. Potentially. That's the thing.
If it was perfect, it'd be boring. No one wants to watch the perfect movie.
Dude, we already know. You're so right about that. Life is drama, right?
Oh
So
yeah, without it, we'd be bored.
did you look up real quick what the
Yes.
left angle was?
Yeah,
Or-
so
or
the left angle is the cross of confrontation.
confrontation. Okay, that makes sense for this. I knew it, yeah, it wasn't Dominion. That's when the 47 and the 22 are in the Sun Earth.
Yeah, want me to read it?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah. People who govern the resources of the tribe in times of crisis and conflict, willing to confront with their power or challenge those who wish to rule so they can stake their claim.
Confrontation, standing up for the
Yeah.
thing. The
Yeah,
two
it's a-
king lions going at it for the tribe. That's for the whatever you call it when it's bunch of lions. But yeah, the pride actually, the Pride Alliance. I just find that what was the juxtaposition? Do you
The
mind?
juxtaposition, yeah, for sure. So for everyone listening at home, so you can know what we're talking about. So the first one is the right angle cross of rulership. Then it goes into the juxtaposition, cross of possession, and then the left angle cross of confrontation. So
So
the middle
go
one is the possession, which people of influence who can step into a rulership role for the community and take charge or rule during crisis and conflict. So that conflict starts to come in the middle, and then the different ways to deal with it.
Yep, for the community. Now, if the community isn't for that particular ruler, that ruler is not offered, and he or she is not for the community. Back to that word offer. I love this word offer because it's
So relevant.
so relevant, different from taking, obviously. So think about that movement. Rulership is sort of a right angle process. I'm figuring out how my possessiveness rules according to what I am offered. And then it moves into possessiveness. I possess this and its time is needed. So I go, and then the left angle, which is out there in the world, expressing out, universalizing, is saying, oh yeah, you're challenging that? Confrontation time. These are all correct. That's the biological movement of these last 6 days, basically. And we're in that left angle movement of it. So now is the time confrontations get settled over the next 2 days. And settled according to your highest principles. Just make it be that way, because it can fall into a low expression quickly. Think about it. Yeah. So
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, this is so cool. I love doing this with you.
so both danger and goodness in this particular cross as it relates to our human way and what we're looking at in the world today and so forth.
Very cool. I feel good. Anything else? My
Nope.
magical generator, my guru.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm a little unicorn, so you just pull from me and then I say stuff.
I love it. It's so much
I
fun.
don't get to know beforehand, Moni. I don't get to know, so I'm not very strategic about much. That's funny.
No, it's great. It's super fun. I love just being in the moment with you both on our like phone calls as well as on the show, and like this dynamic of just like, I don't know, like let's prepare something and then just see what comes up. So super
Yeah.
fun. So thank you, Danny. Thank you, Moana, and all our wonderful 1-4 guests. What a wonderful show. It's so great.
We killed it. Thanks so much, Moni.
Woo
Yeah,
woo.
thank you.
So to inform, right? This whole show series, none of it would be possible without, of course, the guests that agree to come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But there's also like secret fairies that are helping to bring the guests on. So for people who don't know, there are people helping us in the background that are like, "Oh, you needed this? Let me just go message everyone I know." So thank them too for gathering this. This is an epic feat to be able to find people, let alone find people in like the
Oh, yeah.
transitional profiles. They are literally unicorns on
They're unicorns.
unicorns.
Did you guys know that all transitional profiles have a fixed motivation of 6 line in it?
Innocence.
Yeah.
I
Did
just
I
you
didn't
know
know
learned this.
that.
I just learned it.
I was
Okay.
like, oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Like, and that
That's fun.
fixedness has no actual, it's a motivation of non-motivation.
Right. It's a motivation of having no motive, essentially.
Just like I just want to do it. I don't have a reason. I just want to. I don't care about the result.
Like, this
So-
is just gonna be fun.
Yeah. Oh, so that's funny. So to inform the rest of our audience, next week we are continuing this crazy profile line train and we're moving on to the 2-4s. So Danny is not going to be your usual host self. We're going to flip him and try to see how well he does as a guest. So we are, he's going to still come on and do the transit. So if you've noticed a change that we're doing the transits at the end, it's so we make sure that the guests can
Waiting
have
long.
time to unwind and we're not leaving them waiting too long, and it's also for us to take our time with it and not rush through. So last week was a little bit of experimenting and figuring out what works and
1-3.
what doesn't, right? Very appropriate for the 1-3. So we are fine tuning as we go. So that's something we figured out works.
We've had
So
it perfect
hopefully,
the whole time. It's been
That's
exactly
always forever. Fine tuning forever.
right?
totally-
So
yeah.
so expect that format from us going forward for the rest of the profile series. Is the transit forecast is going to be at the end and we're going to bring on the guests first. So with that, friends, we also, I should inform you, I did not inform you of this last week. So sometimes we have been shifting around our broadcast time, and this is to accommodate the guests in all the different time zones. So like we mentioned, we had 2 European guests. If we came out at our regular time, there was no way they could stay awake and be
You
functional.
want to hang out with us at 4 in the morning in Scotland?
Right.
not?
So we are having like a similar situation next week. So we are again doing an early broadcast next week, so you are aware, and it's not a surprise. And then after that, we should be going back to our regular timing. But again, if it does change, we always post it on our Instagram page, so look out there, and also look at our stream schedule. If we have an updated time that we're doing our regular broadcast, you can always find it there. So trying to make
And-
sure it's not a surprise. And
Replays are available on YouTube. They're also on Twitch, but it might be easier to find them on YouTube depending on how far back you want to go. So Twitch and YouTube has some replays. If you do happen to miss it and you want to check it out.
yes, our replays are also I make them evergreen by looking under the highlight section on
Oh,
Twitch.
perfect.
So just look
That's
under
smart.
highlights and you will always find us, even if the original broadcast has expired. Also, I don't know why I keep forgetting this. If you're new to this channel, please follow. Please tell your friends. Like, there's the whole point is to spread this to as many people as possible. So if you're new and you're like, wow, this is a thing, yes, it is a thing, and we'd like to continue to be a thing. And we only know that's a thing if you give us some love, and a follow is a great way to start. But with that, anything else to add, friends?
Thank
Nope.
you. I love you. This was super great and just brightened my whole day.
Magical. Okay, so I am going to bid everyone adieu.